Hey guys, welcome back to another craft break. I am Bianca Octavia, and every Wednesday we go live with a fun Mod Podge project. Today, in addition to the Mod Podge, we will be working with home decor chalk paint. And I'll go through all of the different colors that we have here today. If anyone has any questions about the colors we're using, I'll definitely go back over them and tell you all about it. The project that we will actually be making are storage containers made out of these chip cans. So you can grab these for $1 at any dollar store, or you probably already have them sitting in your pantry at home. So this is a really fun, quick, and easy project that you can do at home. And to make this, the supplies you're going to need are, of course, your chip can. You're also going to need an old doorknob or drawer knob. You're going to need a label to put on the front of your can. You're going to need scissors, a pencil, a sanding block, and your paint. So we will go ahead and we will jump into this project. And the first thing that you are going to do is figure out how tall you want your can to be. So this, as it is a little bit too tall because we want to be able to reach our hand in there and get to the bottom of it if we need to. So as you can see right now, it's kind of hard to get in there. So I am going to use this pencil to draw a line around where I want to cut at. And there's actually already a line here. So I'm just going to trace around it. And then we'll use our scissors to cut it. And if there are any rough edges afterwards, we're going to use our sanding block to smooth it out. So I'm just going around with my pencil. There we go. All right. So now we're going to use our scissors to cut in here. You can also use an X-Acto knife if that is what you have at home. So I'm going to use one blade from our scissors to kind of dig in here, and then we're going to begin cutting. Be careful with this part. Let's actually switch this around. I would love to know where everyone is watching from today. All right, so we've created a hole. I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting. Be careful when you do that part. You don't wanna poke yourself. So I'm gonna cut slowly around the line that I created with the pencil. And the reason we're doing this project is because I try to use January as a month to organize myself for the rest of the year. And so I thought this was a pretty cool project to help with that. And I also like to try to save money when I'm decorating or doing things like this. And I thought that this was a really cost-effective way to create that storage and to recycle some of the items that you already have at home. So I have gone ahead and cut my can to size. There are some rough edges around the circle that we cut, so I'm going to take a small sanding block and I'm just going to go around and lightly sand it down. Also, I want to mention, of course, before you start this project, you do want to clean your can out. Just rinse it out with some warm water and soap or a damp rag. All right, so we'll smooth this edge just a little bit more. All right, I think that is pretty good. All right. And let me know if you guys have any questions as we go along through this project. I do not mind stopping to answer those. And if you have any questions about the colors that we're going to use for this project. All right, so the next step is to grab your paint and a paintbrush, and we are going to paint this using FolkArt Home Decor Chalk, and this is Vintage Victorian. I really love this color. It's like a muted pink.
Is that the color that you used for the one on your left there?
Yep. So I will bring this over so you guys can see it. So this is the project that we're making. I don't know if I showed this in the beginning, but this is the project that we are making today. And this is the color that I'm getting ready to use. Vintage Victorian Folk Art Home Decor Chalk.
Awesome.
All right. So we are going to begin painting our can. It took me about 2 coats to get it fully covered.
Bianca, do you know if the sanding block that you used was fine grit, or if it was, like, do you know what grit it was?
I do not know. That's actually a great question. Let me feel it. It's pretty fine. It's not rough at all. I would suggest probably using a finer block. That way you don't create any big scratches because this is paper. It's not like it's wood. So we are adding on our first coat, which is already giving us some pretty good coverage with just the first coat. And to help with drying time, you can grab a blow dryer and go over it. If you are an impatient crafter like me. And you're gonna do the same thing with the lid that came with the chip can. And an important thing to note, the reason we're cutting the can itself is, like I said in the beginning, to adjust it to the height size that you need. But also, once we get to the end of this project, we are going to be adding an old drawer knob to the top of the lid. And we want to be able to use that drawer knob to actually pull the lid up. And if you do not cut your can, it's going to be pretty hard for you to pull that off because it has a pretty tight grip with the top here. So the top is designed to make sure that your lid stays on tightly and securely, and your drawer knob will not be strong enough to pull that up with that grip. So with it being cut like this, it comes up pretty easily.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So I believe that is a pretty good first coat. We're gonna go over this with the blow dryer for just a second. Then we'll go back over it with our second coat, and I'll talk to you about the next few steps. So give us just a second. All right. All right. I love this paint. I feel like it dries a lot faster than some of the others. Even without blow drying it, this paint dries almost instantly. So we're going back over this with a second coat. You can add a third if you need to. I guess depending on what type of can you're using. The can I picked out only needed 2 coats. All right. And like I said, you're gonna do this exact same thing with the lid that came with your can. Nothing special, you're just gonna paint it. So once we get another good cut on here, I'm gonna set this off to the side, and then we will work on the handle that we're gonna use to open our container with. All right. So we'll add a little bit more around here. A little bit more on the bottom at the front. And then we'll set this to the side. All right. Alrighty. So I feel like that is a pretty good second coat. We'll flip it around and see if we missed any areas. Nope. I think that's pretty good. It'll look a lot more flat once it fully dries. All right, so I'm gonna set this off to the side. I'm going to pull out this old drawer knob. So you can also purchase these at the dollar store. You can find these at a craft store as well. I think something else that would be really nice if you didn't want to go with a wooden knob would be a crystal knob. That, of course, would not require any painting, unless that's what you would like to do with it. But I think that would also be a really nice alternative if you didn't want to go with the wood knob. So, with the wooden knob, I am going to be using the FolkArt Home Decor Chalk White Adirondack.
Bianca, we had a couple questions.
Okay.
Would using a darker paint make it need less coats?
I would say yes and no, because if you use like a base coat, like a darker coat, you're still gonna have to go over it again with your second color. And we just used 2 coats here, so it's kind of like the same thing.
Okay, and then have you noticed any warping after painting?
No, I have not. Actually, I'll pull one out just to show you. I have not noticed any warping, and these have been finished for about a week now.
All right.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna grab another paintbrush. Nothing fancy here. We are just going to paint our drawer knob with our white color. Actually, that was our Mod Podge. We don't want to Mod Podge it yet. All right, so I'm just gonna go over it with our color. And just thinking of some other things. Let's say you don't have a Pringles chip can at home. Something else that you could do similar, but with a different type of container, is maybe like an old paint can that you have sitting around. I think that would be a great alternative. And that could also be like a cookie tin or a cookie jar that you set in your kitchen, of course, after you thoroughly clean it out. You can maybe add some wax paper in the inside just for some extra coverage and safety before you add in anything that you plan to eat. Or it could just be storage for kitchen utensils. I could see something really round and big like that sitting up on the kitchen counter. All right, so I do believe that's a pretty good coat. I'm gonna blow dry this as well for just a second, even though it's honestly halfway dry. Like I said, this paint dries pretty quickly. And this is my favorite paint out of all the paints that we use here. Home Decor Chalk is my absolute favorite paint. All right, I'm gonna blow dry this for just a second and I'll be right back. All right, and just a really fun fact, I actually bought a desk from Goodwill a few weeks ago, and I flipped it into a makeup vanity, and I used this exact color on it.
Cute.
Yeah. If you guys want to see it, you can follow me at I am Bianca Octavia. I'm going to be sharing the video and the before and after pictures probably sometime this week. All right, so our drawer knob is dry. I have a printable here. I did make this myself online. If you can find a label on Google, or if you want to go on Canva like I did, you can go in there and make this. I did not design this from scratch. This was actually just a template. I just changed the name on it. So we are going to apply this onto the front of our can using Mod Podge. I will be using the matte formula. So that is what we will be using today. All right, so let's bring our can back over. All right, and I am going to add a layer of Mod Podge to the back of our label here, and then we're going to stick it onto the front. So let's grab another paintbrush. And let's add some to the back of here. All right. So you don't want to do too much because you don't want to oversaturate your label. You want just enough for it to be able to stick onto your container. Alrighty. So I chose to do bathroom containers for my project because I definitely needed these in my bathroom, but I think these would look really nice in your craft room as craft supply containers. Like I said, I think this will also look great in the kitchen. Let's see where else. You could even put these in your linen closet and fill them with Q-tips, cotton balls, makeup swabs, little things like that. All right, so I believe that is enough. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this to the front of our container. And I'm gonna use my hand to smooth it out. Make sure your hands are paint free. Before you do this part, you don't wanna mess up your label and have to print out another one. Ink is very expensive. All right, so that is on there. What you can also do is go over the label with another layer of Mod Podge just to seal it. Not necessarily necessary, but it does add a little bit more coverage. So the next step for this project, we'll set this off to the side and let it dry, is to add your drawer knob to the top of your painted lid, and you're gonna use some hot glue to glue it on. So this is what it should look like when you finish. I'll hold it up so you guys can see it. All right. And once your lid is painted and your drawer knob is on and you have your label added to the front of your can, you should be able to assemble it, and it should look something like this. And just for fun, I have some cotton balls here. We can throw those in there just so you can see what that'll look like. So let's see. And then I'll also go through our colors before we get out of here. If you guys want to go on plaidonline.com, I do believe we have a promotion going on for our FolkArt home decor chalk. All right. So let's just throw some cotton balls in here. Perfect. And you add on your lid. And just to show you for visual purposes what I was saying earlier, it's super easy to pull your lid on and off without that grip there that was originally at the top of our can. So that is our project for today. I'll pull some of the other containers that I made over so you can see what those colors look like. So this is, of course, the one we just did here together. And this color, again, was the Vintage Victorian. All right. This one here is our Sage Shadow. I love this color. It's like a really cool light green, almost like a mint. It's really beautiful. And then our last container, we used the hazy color. So I really love this color as well. Alrighty. So that is our project from today, you guys. Like I said, super easy, super quick, very simple. It's a really cool way to use some of the items that you already have in your home. You paid for it, you might as well get the most out of your buck. If you guys have any questions before we get out of here, I would love to answer them. And I hope that you guys will join us next week for another fun Mod Podge project. We will be switching over to Valentine's Day. So I have a fun Valentine's craft that I will be doing with you guys. And if you try this project at home, please use hashtag #PlaidCrafts. We would love to see it and thumbs up it. And if we don't have any questions, we will see you guys next week, same time at 3 o'clock. Bye, guys.